Welcome back to CeleTake Podcast, baby. Episode 7, where we talk everything and anything Cele Nation. You always have me, Eric, your host, and Mike, co-host, and Cele Nation owner. This episode is going to be a Captain's Edition. So joining me, on my far right, we got the captain of the Red Rangers, the 4-2 Red Rangers, and Scalco. Next to me, we got captain of the 4-2 Magicians, the Magical Magicians, Mr. Gator.
He picked the team.
Both of you.
Out.
Mike is also the captain of the Dogs also. On my far left.
Not my record.
No.
Oh, no.
No record. No record.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter about your record.
They're irrelevant.
You can say we're not telling the record. But you can.
I'll put it there. But they are 5-1. But we got Coach Tone, the coach of the La Familia, the 4-2 La Familias.
3 4-2s.
3 4-2s. Very competitive season. And then finally,
1-5.
1-5. 1-5.
Hey, you want to give us 2? That's fine.
The Reapers, captain of the Reapers, Chris Sauce.
We're a real team. Yeah.
Our real team.
Hey, your jersey's hung up, so you're doing better than the Bandits.
So, to start off the podcast, we have some breaking news. We have a player that is kicked out of the league. Phil, from the Red Rangers. You want to go further on it, Mike, about what happened?
Pre-season during the scrimmages, tried to fight me. Had a conversation with him. Not the league to have altercations, physical altercations. Week 3, Steve the Kid and Alfonso got into a fight. They immediately got suspended, and we warned the league if anybody gets into a physical altercation, they will immediately be ejected from the league. Week 5, Corey gets ejected from the league. Same week, Phil throws a chair. He gets a public warning. If he does anything else, he will be ejected. Week 7, he hits Josue in the face. He got ejected.
It wasn't really a hit. He kind of put his hand in his face.
And then he went like this, and I have it in slow motion and in fast motion. He hit him in the mouth. It was an unnecessary gesture. Finger was out, very awkward. He hit him in the mouth. No tech was called. No anything was called. We reviewed the footage as a collective.
Best ref. Come on, TP.
And 6 of us voted that that's not acceptable.
One of us didn't. Which
Gator.
was me.
It was me.
I told my team it was a 6-1 vote, and Andre thought no, it was the one. I was like, Andre, you thought I voted him out? He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, I forgot you're our captain.
All right, the red team's going to make an official statement now before we continue the podcast.
Go ahead.
So red team doesn't condone anybody punching someone in the face or putting their finger in anyone's face or anything like that. However, Phil is a great guy. We love Phil. He's still a Red Ranger. He still wants to come to support the team. And my proposal was that we do like a 1-game suspension since the season wasn't over, but or the season could be over if we lost. We only had 1 game guaranteed, unfortunately. No one, I guess, agreed with that sentiment. But, Phil, unlike Corey and Yusuf, he's not a malicious person. He doesn't have actual negative intent in what he does. I don't think he realizes the gravity of it, but he's a great teammate. After everything happened, he stayed, he cheered loud for our guys. Like, he's still active in our group chat, even though he's not on the team anymore. He really does mean well. I don't think he realizes that, that type of behavior probably not the best look, even though in his mind it's like, well, we squashed it, nothing came of it, we move on, which I get it, but I think maybe he doesn't always mean what it seems like he's meaning. I think Phil's quite misunderstood. But the Rangers are going to miss him. He's our guy. He's still a Ranger, Ranger forever, as they say, Gator. And, let the power protect you, Phil.
Does it come back as a White Ranger now?
At the end of the day, we do like Phil. It's not personal against Phil, but Josue's girlfriend's there, newborn baby, the week before his daughter's there. Like, there's family in attendance.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see their father get hit in the mouth. Nobody wants to see anybody get disrespected like that, regardless of who it is. If that would have happened to any one of us, it would have been the same repercussions. So we can't have that. And at the end of the day,
Playoffs, baby.
It's a shame. We didn't want to do it, but we felt like we had to do it because of the previous warnings that were set. And that's where we're at.
Just an issue of keeping your emotions in check, baby. Just keeping your emotions in check.
Well said, E.
All right, let's talk about Week 7. First game, the Magicians versus the
Makos.
Makos.
You played in that game.
I just want-
Play them again this
won.
week.
The Magicians winning that game against the Makos. It was a very exciting game. Fritz went off. From my perspective, Fritz was, because I was guarding Fritz mainly.
Yeah, he was giving
And
me
he
work.
was giving me work. I ended up on a clip. Thank you,
Yeah.
Fritz. Appreciate it.
Pretty
Second
sure
one
he
of the
gave
season.
everyone work.
But the Magicians still pulled it off. They put on a show for you guys.
Thanks to Coach Brown.
All right.
So, any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, that game went the way that I thought it was going to. I think when you break it down into the most, like, nuanced way here, or not the most simplistic way, you guys have 3 good players, they have 2. You have, in case you don't know who it is, on your team, it's Braylon, Nick Choi, and 1v1. And
What
they
about
have Nacho
TP?
and Fritz.
TP, Gator, Eric.
Well, you guys have 8 coaches in Gator, and you guys have 3 really good players.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know why I'm on that ballot.
Look,
Braylon should have been there.
You should have won. What?
Well, he didn't have a
Braylon
3-game
coached
minimal.
here.
He didn't have a 3-game minimal.
I voted for TP.
Doesn't
for
matter.
this
He was
year.
still coaching.
So
He
I-
FaceTimed us during the games.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, I think the Makos definitely missed Fitz defensively. Fitz does a good job at defending the interior and also in the perimeter if you need him to. I think one of the things that they did not realize, I don't know how, was like every time they were taking a shot, you guys were just running. Every time there was a miss, you guys were getting a layup or an open 3 in transition, and they never really adjusted. The Makos' Achilles heel all season has been their perimeter defenses, other than the Bandits, who basically aren't a real team. They basically have the worst perimeter defense in the league, and this league is won on the perimeter. If you can't guard the 3-point line and you can't stop penetration, then you're just not going to be in a good place. If they want to beat you guys Sunday, they're going to need a third guy to step up. They're going to have to get Ethan into a rhythm, or Vaughn or D Smooth. They're going to have to get into a rhythm because
Defensive Player of the Year, D Smooth.
wow, Gator coming in hot off the top rope.
Avada Kedavra from the Magician.
Hey, that didn't come from me.
Crucio.
Oh, God.
Hey, I thought you said you weren't making those.
That's different. It's Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
that's Harry Potter.
I got a
Oh, my
Dementor
bad.
joke for him. Either way, I think the game went the
Sent
way
me
that
to
it was,
Azkaban.
it was going to. So if I'm Luke, if I have all my guys, I think I need to play Axel and I need to play Fitz more. I need somebody who's going to try to play some perimeter defense and who's going to try to like blitz the ball handler and force the ball away. Because they just let you guys get everything wherever you wanted. And to your credit, you and other guys have been hitting jump shots the past 3 games. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's probably, the highest scoring game ever total combined, or is it
No,
second?
second.
Was it blue-green? Was that 100 to
No, it was blue-gold.
blue-gold?
It was 101 to 84.
Okay, so yeah, it's 185, yeah. But yeah, good game, Magicians. Bad puns, though.
Thank
So,
you.
Sauce, for the Makos, for the first week in the playoffs against the Magicians, what should they take from this game?
Well,
Or
you
what
guys
should they-
killed them with the pick and roll. So it really just comes down to their defense. Their offense has not been an issue all season. Fritz goes cold, but it's not because anyone's stopping him. He just has cold days. So yeah, defensively they got to figure that out. They do need to get Luke involved. Ant and I have talked at length about this. It just opens up the floor for them, and he's a really tough rebounder too for the guard position. Playing Axel does improve their defense a little, but I think a lot of times he does get frozen out there. He's kind of reverting back to some of his bad habits, and maybe that's a result of not getting a lot of playing time. So he feels a little pressed to do things when he's out there. And like you said, losing Fritz, that does also hurt them defensively. So for the playoffs, they got to figure out an answer for Nick Choi. That was the biggest difference because 1v1 is going to do his thing. Braylon's going to do his thing. You got to stop one of those 3, and you have a better chance of stopping the big man as opposed to the other 2 because we are a guard-driven league at the end of the day. So do your best to box him out, and that's honestly the only avenue of success that I see. That and pushing the pace, they didn't really do that well against you guys either. Other than that, you guys pretty much did what we expected to as far as the commentary is concerned. We figured you guys would go to that pick and roll. Figured Nick Choi would be a difference in that game. And sure enough, I think he had 20 points. If I'm not mistaken, he had 20.
21.
something.
7 for 15.
21
Yeah.
to 10.
So, I mean, when you do that, there's just not another guy on the Makos.
8 turnovers, though.
Yeah, that is.
That was
bad.
glaring.
Well, that's the guy that you pick at because he's definitely the worst with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. So,
If you get him in space, he's not as dangerous as the other 2.
So the possessions in which he did have the ball on the perimeter were their worst possessions. When you guys get him involved in a pick and roll situation or pick and pop situation where he doesn't have to put the ball on the floor, it was just like whatever they wanted. You know, you guys, if they jumped on Choi, 1v1 was doing his thing. If you jumped on 1v1, Choi's open, and 1v1 has been amazing at facilitating the ball as well. We talked about that as well.
We have 9 assists.
36 and 9.
Led
Yeah.
the league. Led the
Impressive.
league.
Impressive.
Yeah, that
numbers.
move for him from off ball onto the point guard spot has really made a difference for you guys, and it's really been the reason for his late season MVP surge, in my opinion.
And one thing nobody's talking about Gator, you can probably talk about it a little more. Braylon, last season MVP, last game, instead of starting, he came off the bench.
He did opt to come off the bench.
Off the bench. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, in fact, the reason he ended up choosing that was because of his absence during the season. He felt that because the others were there more often, that they deserved more playing time than him. But when he did come in, he was a surge. It was
It was
exactly
7
what
for
we
9,
needed.
3 for 5 from
Still
3.
MVP,
Yeah.
baby.
100%, still in
It's just
MVP
easy.
form.
It's too easy.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Game 2 was
Reapers.
the Reapers versus La Familia. Mike Mitchell led them boys, led La Familia.
The hood superstar.
Hood superstar.
Can we say this? He wants campus legend. He had 6 turnovers. You're not getting campus legend. Sorry.
Ooh.
His 1v1 god is 36, 9, and 4. And he shot 14 for 21 with
And he
one
refed.
steal. Or with 2 steals and 1 turnover.
Yeah,
It's not even
that's
close.
right, he ref too.
And it was against a tougher team and all.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Mitchell, I love you, man, but you had worse numbers. You don't take it personally. You didn't do as good. And you had 6 turnovers.
Coach Tone, were you doing any coaching?
Yeah,
Not even being at the game?
I
Or-
sent them like a scouting report and everything I asked.
So what were you
You
telling
was
them
Scott
before that
report?
game?
Yeah, I did. And I put it in our group chat. Yeah.
So
So-
what'd you tell your boys before?
I told him to like let Yusef do whatever the hell he wants and let everyone else just play not in rhythm, because one guy is not going to beat 5 guys.
Are you hearing this, Noah?
So I just told him like,
Nobody
yeah,
can
Yusef
watch
is gonna get his and he's gonna shoot at least 30 shots, and that's what happened when I did the stats. But no one else was in rhythm other than Ish at the end of the game. He had a couple like bunnies and layups at the end of
Yeah.
the second half,
Those
which
were
when the
garbage
game was
moves.
already over, he had 6 to 8 points, and then he had like 9 points in the last like 3-4 minutes of the game. So that's why I just told my guys. I was like, yeah, Yusef's gonna do his thing. He's gonna shoot all these shots and he's gonna talk his shit. Sorry for the language, but
I'm not
at the end of the day, it's like we're more of a team than them. So if we play team ball, we'll be fine. In my opinion, we play team ball. Like Batman had his career high in Selly Nation, 5 points. To me, my opinion, Johnny, the most selfless superstar in the league. Played
No,
solid.
Braylon's coming off the bench. I think that says something for him.
Johnny
too.
came and coached the game when he was hurt.
I'm
I
saying,
don't think.
I'm just
I
saying.
love Braylon.
I think both of them. I think we're very fortunate to have 2 guys like
Yeah.
that at the top of the
Top
league.
Yeah.
the top 2 picks.
Yeah.
One of them is gonna come off
Yeah.
the bench for his team. The other one got hurt representing the league,
Yeah.
and he came in the next day
I agree.
and coached. So in my opinion, like we're glad we have some selfless superstars that
Yeah.
make the league better, to bring in guys to be like, hey, let's be more about the team
Yeah.
than more about yourself and your numbers.
For the Reapers, Mike, what should they take from that game?
Just they have no options when Brandon, Steed, and Lewis are not there. You have no options outside of Yusuf, and Yusuf feels that. And I think he did a similar thing that what Corey did in the beginning of our game. He did try to get people involved. People are missing.
Yeah.
There's no real option for him to get the ball to and like, hey, you go get a bucket too. So then he feels pressure to do too much. 27 shots, 6 turnovers. He did too much. And I think that that's really the bottom line for the Reapers. As much as your attendance has been bad, you have had Johnny, and you've had other guys that
Yeah.
can give you buckets.
Yeah.
They haven't.
Yeah.
You know, they have Kyson, who's been playing better defensively. Sauce is a good defensive player. Ish is very hit or miss. Chan has just not been what he was last season. Steve the Kid. And BDM doesn't want to play. So they have no real options on offense, and I think that's the biggest struggle for them is who's their number 2? He's in Mississippi.
That's the thing. And week to week, I'm having to figure it out with a new lineup. And not that that's an excuse. At the end of the day, it's a challenge. It's not an excuse. So every week, we're trying to figure that out. And as a team, we're not a team that can come back, right? We have to be able to play defense, number 1, and we have to be able to slow the game down and muck it up, which is how we beat the Bandits. But in the totality of the season, that doesn't even look like a good win. But we also lost by a buzzer beater to the Makos because of the way we played. We played good defense right up until the end.
But you got to remember, D Smooth set a huge screen.
I'm dead, man.
And
That
Biggest
screen,
screen of
it's
the
the
game.
greatest screen I've seen in my life.
Biggest screen I've seen.
in my life.
And you coach 6
That
graders.
goes 6th graders. No, in all honesty, it's just
Are the
we're
6th
not.
graders available to play this week?
I might need them. In all honesty, no, but even at full strength, we don't have the team that is built to just outscore somebody. We're made to score efficiently with, I mean, honestly, with 2 scorers, we want to move the ball around a little more. We do need to hit shots. Really outside of myself, Corey, Yusuf, as far as outside shooting is concerned, there's nobody. And that's an issue. So that's why we can't play from behind. We have to set the tone early. And then when people aren't there, and then you got to throw in 2 big men at once, teams just outrun us. And it was evident from game 1 when we played the Rangers. We got run right off the floor. I had to have 2 big men out there. I didn't have Lou week 1. So pretty much anytime Lou isn't there, I already know we're going to struggle as far as transition is concerned. Because he's the only big man that I know that can run up and down the floor. And then when you lose Brandon Steed, then you throw Yusuf out there on his own, trying to figure it out. It just doesn't work that way. It's just, and without shooters around him, people can collapse the paint. It makes his job a lot harder. He's a lot more exhausted. He's not going to get back on defense as a result. He's going to be missing his assignment because he's fatigued. That's what happens. And on top of that, he plays Saturdays too. A lot of these guys play Saturdays. But not all of them have to come here on Sundays and do everything on their own. So it's just a really bad mix of factors that lead to a lot of losses, with the exception of those guys who play worse defense than us.
The Bandits.
Yes.
Yeah. Game 3. The Dogs with 6 players surprisingly pulled it away. Pulled out. Dom with his best game of the season, I think. 29 points. Gator.
Yeah, Dom, this is the only credit I'm going to give you.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
All right.
He played like Season 2 Dom. This was a Dom that I've been wanting to see all season, and this is why I've been heckling him the entire time. The guy all season has been whining about foul calls or not getting foul calls or the lack of, and he finally just put his head down and just played the game, and he let the game come to him, and so that's why he did so well. And shout out to his acting classes if you're interested. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7. I've been to one of them. They're great. No, 5 to 7.
After Adult Swim.
Yes. Yeah. Great, actually. So, aside from that, having only 6 players, like, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I thought they were going to get tired. I was like, no, they're playing a great game, but we'll see what's going to happen in the second half. And they just kept pulling through. And the Rangers themselves just weren't hitting enough shots. Chile definitely missed a great amount of buckets inside that he could have easily hit, rimmed out. And, I mean, the only player that I thought was actually playing well on their team,
If you want reference.
oh, I appreciate it, was
a message
Ant,
from
to be
Dom.
honest. Ant was playing well, even though he wasn't hitting his shots. He had 2 steals, 5 boards coming from you. Like, you don't usually get boards. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't move.
You don't.
He's nowhere near the
Yes, I'm
board.
right here.
I think
You haven't moved at all.
Was that your first career offensive 3-second call too? Trying to post up J-ball?
No, that's not what happened. I wanted him in the post, and then I realized that the ball wasn't swinging that way, and I was trying to get out, and I got sandwiched by somebody. I don't remember who it was. And my legs didn't want to move, and I was like, well...
3 seconds it is.
My life flashed before my eyes. J-Ball was keeping me entertained. He was telling me what was going on.
He's a force to
Full
reckon
court
with.
pressing you.
So,
I know, J-Ball. Oh, screen. Yeah, I got it. I know.
so yeah, let's get your captain's view.
When I think
on
of
the
the game.
on the other side, you saw they had 6 players. What were you telling your players?
Have you guys ever seen Old School?
Yes.
You haven't seen Old
Will
School?
Ferrell.
You know Old School?
Me and Chan were just talking about forming a
fine.
mega person.
That's Kicking and Screaming.
Oh, kicking. Oh, sorry.
Old School is the movie with the
You my
with
boy
the-
Blue.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, they have the fraternity in the college house. So in the movie, Will Ferrell's character Frank gets
Frank
drunk very
Metayer.
easily, and he turns into a different person. So his wife doesn't want to drink. Go to a party, gets drunk, gets naked, starts streaking to the quad, to the quad through the gymnasium. He thinks everyone's going to follow him.
Right.
When he realizes, when his wife picks him up, is that no one's behind him and he's been streaking by himself. That was how I felt trying to press on Sunday.
Fucking-
I wanted us to press, and I was the only one naked, streaking through the quad. So my game plan, I'll be honest with you. Energetically, for some reason, the guys were weird on Sunday. Boogie was not himself. X was not himself. Chili was not himself. The Phil stuff definitely derailed us. Him getting in foul trouble and then not really playing, and then everything that happened with Sway. So it was a weird game. I felt like Zane was the only other guy on my team other than me that understood the gravity of the situation, and Zane was very into it. And then Phil was into it after he got kicked out of the game. But everybody else, I thought, played by far their worst game of the season. Offensively, we were never in a rhythm. We forced some shots. I mean, We just played we played our worst game of the season by far. It was our worst offensive game of the season. Probably the least amount of assists we've had. We played like dog shit, you know?
Yeah.
No pun intended. So it was just not
God damn it.
it was not a good
Damn it.
performance, but you know, it's been a weird month. We had a bye. We had Magicians, bye, Dogs, bye, playoffs, and no Phil in between that. So we're in an interesting place at the moment. So I know all the other teams are talking about us. I know La Familia is thinking that we're dead, and Kyle says nobody wants to play them, and all this stuff. We hear it. We know. It's all right. We'll learn from them. We'll get better. We got plenty of time. So
I think it was the first game that not having a big man inside defensively really hurt you guys. Because if, at least then, you lose Phil, maybe you have to slow the game down, but you guys move the ball so well on offense that maybe having a rim protector would have slowed Dom down just enough to make up that difference.
I wanted a double off of like J-Ball. I mean, I know J-Ball can hit a shot.
He
but
hit a lot against us.
I'm the least. He's the person I'm the least. Or Parker. He could double off Park too. But like,
I think everybody's
But
against
J-Ball
you,
and Parker,
except
they're
for Mitch.
players. If they're hitting, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, but
J-Ball
you
and
can
free
risk,
throws.
you can take the risk of doubling off of them.
but if you're doubling aggressively and meeting the ball high, then it's not as simple as just like, oh, J-Ball.
Yeah.
You're making that's what we did in the scrimmage against them.
Okay.
But we just. For some reason, and Chief played well. Like I know he didn't really score, but he played well defensively. He did everything he could. I get a Chief shout out.
Well, Chief understands it from last season.
Chief knows. Chief understood what was going on, and Zane understood what was going
Chili
on.
played hard.
Chill just played.
Always does.
I think Chili played the best for you guys.
I think so too. 6 for 13. I mean, he led you guys offensively. He had your most rebounds.
I think he just sort of. There were times I needed him to be in a specific spot. I don't think he was necessarily there,
I think
especially defensively. But I gotta watch the tape back. I haven't watched the film yet.
Who do you think, with Phil being out for the playoffs, who has to be that person to step up? So you think
it's got to be X.
X.
Yeah.
X has because that's what he's drafted for. He's drafted to be the second option on that team. Well, actually, drafted
He's
he's supposed to be the first option.
Yeah.
Phil just happened to be a surprise against us. He's like, oh, that guy can hit 8 out of 10 threes. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, X definitely needs to be the one to step up. And I think that'll help the other guys too. That'll definitely help Zane. That will definitely help out Boogie. Jason Channel as well coming off the bench. You know, that's
He
his
hurt his
guy.
ankle during the game, so he
That's
was kind of
unfortunate.
he
Chili
was
too.
having a hard time.
That-
Yeah, and
Chili
Chili too. It opened up the floor for Chili because Chili's at his best when he has a lane, when
Yep.
he has space to move, and if you can collapse the paint, Chili kind of, I mean, it gets him out of his game. He might get a few foul calls, you know, but then he has to go hit the free throws too. That's the other thing. He's improved his shooting
Yes.
based on prior seasons.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
But yeah, Jason Channel's losing his homie, so I don't know who that second guy's gonna be for him.
Maybe Andre.
That Phil Jason Channel pick and roll for whatever reason.
Kicking and screaming. They form some sort of mega person.
All right, before we move on, for the Dogs, let's get a captain's view. What was you telling your other 5 players?
I mean, my game plan
Mhm.
was exactly what we did. We have the best defensive team in the league, and we proved that again. I mean, we held probably the best offensive team until the Magicians to 18 points in the first half. We got in their head. I said, attack Phil, attack Chili, get them into foul trouble. We did that. I said, let's let Chili and Chief beat us offensively. We did that. So I think we drew up a game plan. We executed it. I played atrociously offensively. Dom took over the game. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it started with the defense. 11 steals with myself and Dom. That's pretty damn good.
Mhm.
So I was overall happy with the guys. 6 guys. All Parker had to do was keep Chili off the boards. I think he did a pretty good job at that for how athletic Chili is. He had 8 boards, but Parker was there. Parker played hard. J-Ball played hard. He was yelling. He was running. He was full court pressing at. I mean, he did what he had to do. So,
Got in your ass, bro.
I mean, when I was guarding X, he was 0 for 9. It's a testament to he's not playing great, but you got to also credit who's guarding that person. Dom shut down Phil. Phil had by far his worst game offensively, got in his head. Josue got in his head.
Played.
He still played.
He
He still played 15 plus minutes.
I mean, yeah, but he was in foul trouble. He was never really in a rhythm. I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't
that
like
was
a
the whole point, though.
traditional game.
That's the point of throwing somebody off their
I think
rhythm.
you guys benefited from only having 6 people. I think if you had Ghost and Mitch, it would have been harder for you to do that.
Well, wasn't the case, and we were good, and we didn't get tired, and I think we played a hell of a game.
Now let's get all the captains' take on the season, starting with Sauce. What's been the toughest challenge for you?
Trying to figure out a game plan again week to week with a different lineup. At first, it was the Corey stuff. It was very difficult to get it through to him that, in spite of certain players' limitations offensively, the best option is still to make them feel involved. Because a lot of times, what they can do is play defense. And if they don't feel involved offensively, they're less inclined to play defense. When you're turning the ball over, on top of that, trying to get them to understand, hey, when they send 2 people at you, it's okay to pass it and then get it back in a more advantageous situation. Because there wasn't anyone that could stop him one-on-one. That's what he couldn't. It just seemed like he couldn't understand that. It's like I'm not trying to take the ball away from you. I'm trying to give you the ball in position so you can score more efficiently because it helps us out. And try to hide him on defense. So that was difficult to deal with at first. And then once we lost him, the attendance in general has been a real struggle. And then me being someone who wants to play defense first, last season we were a much better defensive team, but I had Sway with me. So I felt more comfortable in that situation, having 2 guards who can play defense, and he and I also started last year with him. I felt better defensively, and it kept us in most games. This season, that has not been the case, and that's been the most frustrating thing for me. Specifically the last game, watching Mike Mitchell get a rebound and literally dribble all the way to the side of the court with no one getting his way, that's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life defensively. And it's not what I stand for, and I take pride on that side of the ball. Because offense, you can do everything right offensively, still miss a shot. It's not necessarily about your will. Sometimes your technique's just off. Sometimes you're just off. But defense is all about your desire to do so. So when I see people not play defense, it reads to me as you don't care. You don't want to try. And that is probably the most disappointing thing about the season. We still have a chance to do something different. We still have a chance to prove people wrong and have some pride in what we do out there. Win, lose, or draw, the reality is we have to play better. We have to try harder. There's just not a lot of effort out there for the Reapers. So, yep.
What was one good thing you could take from the season?
One good thing is that Kyson's development, honestly. That's been the most impressive thing.
DPOY.
Yeah, the totality of the season. Because the perception of him was that he was someone with low IQ who was a chucker and who would not play defense. And the decision was made. It was difficult to... I figured I needed him to stay engaged. That's the biggest thing with him, and we all know that. If he's engaged, he's a different player. And I felt like the easiest way to do that and the best way to do that was to put him in the starting lineup. And so after that, the first game I think he started was against the Bandits, and he held Dame to 15. And the whole week leading up to that game, he was adamant that he wanted to guard Dame. And so putting him in the starting lineup, trusting him, and seeing his development in that way, sure, it hasn't been consistent week to week, but it's a much better Kyson than we've ever seen. And he's taken it upon himself outside of the league to improve in aspects as well. It doesn't come to fruition offensively, but again, it's not like he's taking bad shots this season. He's taking shots that are in rhythm. They're just not falling. And that's for most of us. So what I wanted to look at was his defense, and he has been the best defender that we've had consistently and the one who's been there every single week. Like Brandon Steve may have played one game, and he was a good defender, but he's not guarding the best player on the other team. Not that he can't. He just hasn't. He's been good off ball. Aside from that, there hasn't been much good with our season other than the one win. And even the loss to the Makos. We played a good game there with Corey as well. But again, we lost that game because of a lapse in defense. Why we're guarding Vaughn at half court instead of Fritz, I don't know. But that just seems like simple defense. Hey, let's guard the guy who's actually their scorer, not the guy who's a role player in that situation. It's not. We could be 0-6. So,
You could be.
But we're not.
Somebody else is.
Someone else is.
All right, Tone. One challenge that you had this season.
Honestly, this team is not really a challenge. It's just me just coming consistently, but it's work reasons. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, this has probably been my smoothest season I've had. Like, everybody's bought into their roles. Unlike last season, I felt like last season I had a lot of butting heads with a lot of people. But this season is like selfless guys. They all willing to play their role. Our 2 losses were against the top 2 teams, and my guys are ready to go against those 2 teams. Like, I know you heard from all of them, but that just means to me is like they're all in. They bought in. Like, they're all in for this team. Whether we win, whether we lose, like, we all just want to pick each other up. Batman, he's probably had his best season, in my opinion. He's probably up there for most improved. Just by the way he's been, his attitude. I just want to give him a shout out because I know it's been tough for him not playing the most minutes, But this season, he's actually been able to use those minutes to do something productive instead of pouting like he did last season. That's what I felt. But honestly, I have a great group of guys. Like, I have a good time playing with them. Like, we all move the ball. Mike Mitchell, I mean, from 5th round pick, again, he's just shocking people. He's just playing very well. And I feel like he's finally in a rhythm offensively. And he had a conversation. He's like, I need to have the ball a little bit more. And I'm not going to lie, Mike, I love you, but I was a little hesitant on it. But he blossomed. So I know he has a lot of turnovers, and also Nick, just to my opinion, he's Defensive Player of the Year. I put him on the best player every game. I always play Johnny play help side because to me that's the best thing to do is have Johnny play help side and Nick just be a havoc in the defensive end. And I feel like we have one of the better defenses in the league as well. So from last season to this season, I know it's not the same record. We have a worse record, but I'm having a better time playing than I did last season. And it shows in my stats.
I had the same record you had last season.
I did?
He's trying to block out last season.
Which mean Eric wasn't even there during a game. Tone wasn't there last season.
No, I mean, same record, worse record. I just had a better time.
Yeah.
I felt more within the team. Last season, I felt like I was more of a coach than a player, and this time I feel like I'm both.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's good.
Mr. Bill Russell here.
Yeah. So it's been a good time.
All right, Mike. Struggles, player shout-outs from this season.
I mean,
From captain's view.
I picked my whole team to be friendly people.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little hiccup with Dom. And I think that was our biggest struggle was week 3. I got injured. I played terrible. Dom and I had a little butting of heads. And after a week and a half of going back and forth, sending hundreds of text messages and a lot of words exchanged, we were able to squash the beef and move on. And as you see, we're playing our best basketball. We're 3-0 since, minus a very athletic big man in Brandon Benton. And that's, something that has hurt us, but we've been able to overcome that with ball movement. Shout out Mitch, helping put in place the offense that we're running now. And all of my guys have been playing their role, willing to come out the game, and I think that's the biggest difference from last year to this year. Same with Tone. I just like my team better.
All right, the Magician's Gator.
I think the toughest thing we had was in the initial start of not actually having 1v1 God and or Braylon at all at the first game. Really hurt us enough to where I made a move to trade away Brandon Steed in that 3-team trade in order to get Nick Choi. So at least we had some more offense. It was solely me who did this. Nobody else had any insider info.
No, Reapers didn't say anything about 3-team trade.
No, not at all. But as soon as we did get Nick Choi, we had both.
All credit to Gator.
Just me, yeah.
Yeah, it's all Gator.
Coach of the year.
GM of the year. GM of the year. He's not even
Braylon.
coach. He's GM.
I'm GMing as well.
Yeah.
You're welcome. As soon as we did get Nick Choi, though, we also had 1v1 God and Braylon show up to where we did take our second loss of the season to La Familia. And because of that, we weren't fully in sync. And as soon as we actually had more time to play together, we started going on the roll that we are on now, going from 0-2 to 4-2. So we've taken lots of strides. And shout out to 1v1 God, Joel, is his real name, for not just taking some tough shots here and there, but also getting everybody else involved. And it shows on the stat sheet. I mean, dropping 36 and still getting 9 assists, that's big numbers.
And lastly, for the Red Rangers, struggles.
I mean, obviously, we already talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Phil is now not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going through the struggle right now. But, I mean, overall, the season was a positive, and we were 4-2. We had a chance to play for the 1 seed, and, we didn't have a good game. We didn't show up consistently as we have for most of the season. So that's, I think compounding with the loss of Phil. It kind of feels like 2 losses in 1. But, I mean, I hope this will galvanize my team emotionally. Realizing that, we're now the underdog. We were in first place. We were taking everybody's best shots. And Now we're going to be playing from behind here, and we're going to have to bring extra energy. So, I mean, the positives, I think it's a great group. I mean, I like the team I had last year too, so I can't really say like that it's like a change from that. But I think everybody's bought in, and it's a group of guys that really love playing with each other and play for each other. I mean, no one's ever bickered. We've never had a fight. Everyone's always had each other's back. So I love my team, and they've made the season fun. I mean, we wouldn't be 4-2 without everybody together. And
any player on your bench that really surprised you, really shocked you, or did something deserves a shout out?
I mean, Boogie and Zane both have been great. Boogie and Zane, I knew they both had it in them, and I mean, Zane was good season 2 on your guys' team, and he's been good for us. Boogie Man, I knew he had it in him. I mean, I think just the team that he was on didn't really accentuate his skills, and I think he's really bought into what he's due. Shout out to his girlfriend as well. She's great in the stands. Big fan. Live from Mustafar. I would honestly though, JC. I don't know how many people are a Star Wars rep though yet, but Jason Channel and Andre Berg. The Bergman is just a great human being. I don't always agree with his politics, but I love Andre. And then JC is great for us off the bench. So. Yeah, everybody on my team, I love them. I mean, we talked about some of the guys who struggle a little bit from like what their expectation is, but I mean, it really doesn't matter now. Playoffs are here, so all that matters is next Sunday. Yeah, Andre Big. So, fan favorite.
Let's talk about next week predictions. First round of playoffs. First game, we have the Reapers and the Bandits. Right back to you, Ant.
Well, the question is, who's showing up for the Reapers?
Want to answer that question? You don't know?
Well, you know who I'm picking.
Listen, Yusuf and I have spoken about this.
You
We
know-
just talked about it today.
Yeah, me and Yusuf talked about it today too.
No, in the 5 minutes he was there,
He followed me in time. Here's the thing, guys. I'm going on record. I'm taking the Reapers. They could have a whole team. It could just be Sauce by himself. I'm taking the Reapers. The Bandits.
I don't want to be there by myself.
I know. The Bandits.
You and media.
Oh, lordy.
The thing with the Bandits is like realistically they should be like a 500 team. They should be 3-3, I think. And for them to be 0-6, 0-8 if you add in the scrimmages, they're looking to go 0-9. It's never happened before. To go winless in the regular and postseason. That's quite the accomplishment. I'm rooting for them. I think they can do it. Honestly.
That's who you know.
Nobody hasn't been invested all season. I mean, I think
Clearly.
I'd rather see the Reapers. Exactly. I think I really want the Reapers to win. Even though I love Dean and I love some of the Brown Bandits, I just think the Reapers care more. Well, that's not true. Everybody would know what cares on the Brown team, but still, I think the Reapers are going to win. Brown loves snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. They love doing it. It's their best skill. So, give me the Reaps.
Gator, are you following Ann on that Reaper parade, or are you?
I definitely am.
You are?
Oh, 100%. And I think Dean actually should have taken over as captain halfway through the season.
Hot take.
Hot take. He would have definitely moraled the whole group back together. Because whatever they experienced halfway through the season, hell, even beginning of the season, was rough on them. And, I mean, they had no real game plans going into any game. Definitely showed. So, Reapers.
Yeah. I got the Reapers too. I feel like they already beat the Bandits once. Plus, this game means more to them because everybody knows the Bandits are 0-6. So if they were to lose this game, then the Reapers, it looks really, really bad on them.
It's just not as fun.
Yeah.
You know, the Bandits losing is more fun at this point.
We're used to it. We're expecting it.
Dean's calling me. Damn, I was going to pick up and tell him to pick it against them. It's fine.
So we got 3 Reapers.
I'm going to ship Brown Bandits.
Ooh.
Fucking shit.
That is a bad omen.
Why is that? Just because?
There's no reason. The Reapers have just been really... No, Sauce, I love you. Your team's terrible.
Yeah.
Your team is
Okay.
very
It's a
bad.
good play. We have
If you
the
look
tape
at-
speaks for itself.
Yeah, if you look at the plus-minus, Reapers are worse. They're a worse team. Now, if everybody shows up for the Reapers, it's a different situation.
Yeah, is Lewis going to be there?
And the biggest thing that's on Sauce's side is the Bandits don't know how to win. They don't know how to win a game.
They're allergic to it.
Yeah, they don't know how to win a game. But I'm going to pick the Bandits. We'll see. I'm wearing my Bandit jersey.
Don't?
If they need a player, I'm
Last
in.
nice bandit jersey.
I think Ball
Going,
should go on the Bandits.
I'm going hot take too. I'm taking the Bandits.
Ooh.
I said it in my group chat too. Be ready to play against the Bandits. I don't know.
Wow.
Dane's
Wow.
better than Yusuf.
Yeah, Dame's a better player, teammate than Yusuf.
Person?
Yeah.
Nah, I like Yusuf.
I like Yusuf too. But I just got the Bandits. I feel like they're gonna give one final push to not lose every game for this last game, and
New York Giants.
And I'm not gonna say shock the world because their first game was.
The sport is growing.
Oh my God, their first game was bad.
Which one?
Makos.
You're talking about the scrimmage or the regular season?
The regular season game.
But
the Dogs and the Makos too is up there. But all I'm saying is I got Bandits. I feel like they're gonna get one final push. I feel like Dame's gonna have a crazy game this game because Yusuf's gonna do the Squidward dance defense on him, and
Well, he won't be guarding them.
Well,
Tyson's
Sauce,
gonna
who are
want
you
to guard
taking? Who do you think wins, Sauce?
you got the Bandits.
Can neither team win?
If everyone shows,
We get a
I have
draw.
confidence in our team. We've done it already. Kyson has again proven himself against one of the tougher players in the league. Now, does Dame take that upon himself to make that right?
Dame drops 30.
Sure, drop 30, but do you trust everybody else to contribute? And at that
Montel,
point,
yeah.
Montel maybe. And if I'm out there, like,
Marcus,
I haven't
yeah.
played much this
Marcus,
season, in
yeah.
all fairness. In this playoffs, there's no reason for me not to
Like
play
a
more.
brick from Pat.
If I'm out there, I trust my defense as well. And if Lou is there, I trust him to out-rebound anybody they have. If Brandon Steed is out there, I trust his defense as well. We just have more people who are engaged on the defensive end than they do. And I think that's what's going to make the difference because we are two pretty bad offensive teams in general. So whichever team plays better at defense is the one that's going to come out on top, and I trust my guys when they're all there.
So the Pod's taking the Reapers. Second game, it's going to be the Magicians versus the Makos, which I think is the game of the week. Got the rematch.
You don't think it's Bandits Reapers? Really?
Game of the century.
I'm so excited for that game.
It could be Reapers La Familia. We don't know.
I'm pumped. The Butt Brothers.
But right back at you, Sauce.
Oh my God.
Right back at you.
It's out there now.
It's out there in the pod now.
So right back at your Sauce. Magicians, Makos, rematch. Do the Makos pull it off, or does the Magicians beat them again?
I haven't seen the Makos put together a good defensive game yet. That game against the Dogs wasn't good defense. It was just two really bad offenses.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was bad offense, and they topped our game somehow as far as the score is
Karma.
concerned. And I still don't know if there's an answer for Nick Choi and that pick and roll and 1v1.
I think if Fitz comes back.
Maybe, yeah, that could slow it. That
I
could
just
even it
don't
out.
see anybody that can outscreen D Smooth. And that's really what it comes down to.
He's DPOY too.
No, the other thing
He's
is
in
like
the running for Rookie of the Year, too.
I thought it was
Makos
screening.
That, too.
Yeah.
They haven't really been they've been on a pretty negative trajectory ever since starting the season out pretty well.
What have we been saying?
They got hot early. This is like the Bandits last year. You blew your load a little too early. But yeah, with Nacho and Fritz, you're always gonna have a chance. But then it just comes down to who's actually gonna try to get stops. Which team is geared to do that more, and which team has more players who can actually put the ball in the basket as well. Like Ant said, you're going 2 against 3 guys. I don't know that Fritz does make that much of a difference. If anything, I think he probably gets in foul trouble. Nick Troy's not a small dude, so and Fritz is he's bigger, but he's not Fitzgerald, Fritz, Grinch, whatever his last name is. Sejour. But yeah, Fitz probably gets in foul trouble if he plays. That's just my assumption. Nick Troy is a huge dude. It's not easy to defend him without fouling.
So you got
Yeah,
Magicians?
I'm gonna go Magicians. I think it'll be close. Yeah, I think it'll be close, but I think Magicians just come out on top in this one.
How you feeling, Tone?
I didn't see the first game. I gotta see the footage, but just seeing the rosters and the trajectory of both teams, I feel like the Magicians got hot at the right time, like us in a way, and the Makos are going downhill. So I'm going with the hot hand. I'm going with the Magicians. But my thing with the Makos is, those two guys are going to score. Who is going to be that third guy? And in my opinion, from what I've seen, it's Ethan. Like, Ethan's their best perimeter offensive guy that they have. He can actually hit some shots. The thing is, he doesn't play as much as he should. He's the guy that can spread the floor for them.
Agreed.
And Ethan, to me, is one of the more important players because on that whole team, he's probably the third guy that can hit a perimeter jump shot other than the two guys. I love Vaughn and D Smooth, but they're just not consistent. I think they're shooting 2 for 10, 2 for 11 for 3 almost every game.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie.
From what I've seen in the stats. So I'm going with the Magicians. They're the hot hand. They got if Fitz is there, it'll be a close game. In my opinion, if Fitz is not there, Magicians win by like 15. Just because Nick Choi, I feel like I love the guy. I traded him, but he's a monster. And it was a better fit for the Magicians than for me. And I'm glad he's successful because he's a good guy at the end of the day. So that's what I got. I got Magicians.
You on the other side again?
I'm going Braylon's team, the Magicians. I mean, I think at the
Captain
end of the day,
Braylon.
Braylon and TP really got a good hold on the Magicians, and I think that they're doing a great job coaching.
Yeah.
No, I think that I think realistically, Fritz had his best game of his short Celly Nation career. I don't think he's shooting that good again, to be quite frank, and they don't have a third option. Ethan, 8 points, but he's 3 for 5. They don't give him the ball enough. D Smooth, way too much confidence and just not using his size the way that he should. And same with Vaughn. They just took bad shots. Vaughn didn't take many shots because his wrist was hurting. But they need a third option, just as everybody else is saying. They don't have a third option. Magicians all the way. Go Bandits.
Yeah.
You're gonna skip you and Gator?
No, I'll save Gator for last. I know Gator's a magician.
Makos.
No, I want your guys. You guys picking the Makos?
I'm picking Mako. He's going magician.
Yeah.
We'll split it. Make it fair.
Down
The pot is split.
Hey,
Yeah,
can we get TP on the line?
All right, Makos, listen to this for the drive over. This is how you guys try to win this game. First of all, you can't outshoot them. So don't do that. Don't play that game. Don't run with them because you already lost that game last week. Slow the game down. Use the intelligence you have on your team and realize that if I spread my guys out, we can hit shots. The Magicians, no offense, you guys aren't the best defensive team. You guys want to play defense enough to get out and run, and you guys are good at it. If they slow you down and they don't let you do that, that's going to keep them in the game. Axel needs to play more. I know he's been a terrible decision maker in his Celly Nation career, all 4 seasons, but defensively he tries and he'll actually get on the perimeter, and I think Fitz will do the same thing. I would limit the D Smooth and Vaughn minutes personally. I love Vaughn. But if he's not hitting jump shots, he fouls a lot, and so does D Smooth. I know the screen setting's elite, but other than that, the fouling hurts. So I would limit those minutes. I've said this before, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I need to cut some of the Luke minutes. I need to play Ethan more in crunch time. The downside of Ethan in this matchup is Ethan's not a very good perimeter defender. He's never played organized basketball, and you see him get lost in pick and roll. So if you put him in a pick and roll, take notes, coach. If you put Ethan in pick and rolls, you can take advantage of that.
Don't even look at me.
If I'm the Makos, I need to slow the game down. I can't play that pace or I'm going to lose. That's just not going to win
You
the
getting
game.
that?
Oh, I'm getting it.
God.
So, I mean, I'm picking the Magicians, but that's how the Makos try to stay in the game. But I think you guys win. I think you guys are peaking at the right time, and I'm excited to see you guys play the Dogs in the second round.
We got a clean sweep for the magicians on the pod.
Yeah. Well, that's not true. Gator, are you taking them?
I mean, it's
You're
tough.
not even on the team anymore.
I'm not, no. I'm actually
He's commentating
commentating
that
the
game.
game, yeah.
Him and Chili.
Yeah, myself and Chili. He's no longer on the Rangers. Breaking news.
Pesky.
The third game of that on that Sunday is going to be between La Familia and the winner of the Bandits and Reapers. You want the Brown Bandits? Or you want the Reapers?
My opinion, no disrespect, but I don't think it matters either way.
Wow. A lot of disrespect. That's all
I just
disrespect.
have confidence in my team against both. Against the Reapers, we didn't have any of our shooters, and we played probably one of our best offensive game. And against the Bandits, they're going to play zone against us, and we're a shooting team, so...
You know, no, they're not going to play zone again. There's no way.
Dude,
We've been saying
they said
that
that
all
was their
season.
game
I'm calling
plan.
a timeout for them if they go zone.
They went zone. Dame told me
Got
they
repeat
were
games
not
last year.
getting out of that zone no matter what.
Speaking
Because they
of.
said it was a fluke. They said my shots and Kyle's shots were a fluke. They will do it again. That's what they said.
You saw they let me prance to the corner.
So,
In
no
that zone.
disrespect. But
And Corey passed the ball for a game
Corey
winner.
passed
That's how
the
bad the
ball.
Brown Bandits are.
He was
Corey
like-
passed the ball to win the game.
He said, I've seen this before.
Your MVP passed the ball to win a game. That's what put it over the top.
so yeah,
That's the meme
Y'all
of the
can-
season. Meme
y'all
of the pod.
can, y'all can do your analysis, but I have confidence. I'll see Ant in the second round, regardless of who wins.
I think so too. I think that the playoffs, it's going to be intense. It's win or go home. I don't think we're going to see as high scoring of a game as we did. I mean, maybe if a team breaks it open at the end, but I think your guys' game won't be as high scoring as it was last week. I think both of you are going to attempt to play defense this week, hopefully. I can't wait for Bandits Reapers. So excited. That's my game of the year. I'm so pumped for it. I already got some stuff playing on the live mic. And then, La Familia.
Bandits 2-6.
I'm excited.
Let's go Reapers. So that's the end of the podcast. We'll see you guys next week for episode 8 after the first round of the playoffs. Peace.
Double Uno out.